and welcome to another episode of Speechless. I'm your host, Dan Halpern, and today we'll be debating the issues that matter. We'll cover a wide range of topics, from politicians to pop culture. Tonight, we'll be discussing animal rights, the Syrian refugee crisis, and college athletes. Let's get ready for a fierce fight. Ready, set, speechless. What did you say? Welcome back to Speechless, and let's give a warm welcome to the two teams that we'll be debating tonight. On this side, we have the Paramount Pegasi with Elizabeth and Yale. Are you guys ready for tonight's debate?
Completely ready.
We're ready to give the viewers a show for sure.
Looks like it. All right, and on this side, we have the Colonial Centaurs with Julia and James. Are you guys ready for tonight's debate?
Definitely, totally.
Yeah.
It's gonna be such a fun debate.
I don't know if you guys are ready.
Well, I mean, it's not gonna be a challenge, but
Right.
we'll,
Well, we'll
we'll
have
try.
to see. But first, we have to introduce you to our judges. We have Josh, Medina, and PT. What are your expectations for tonight, guys?
Oh, we're live. It's going to be great. We're going to give away points. Everyone's going to be excellent. It's going to be fabulous.
I'm excited how these three very different topics are going to be conveyed by each team.
I'm glad that we have a good balance of quite serious topics like the monkey selfie, balanced with lighter stuff like the fate of Syrian refugees.
Well, very exciting topics tonight. Well, it's time to begin our very first debate. In 2011, nature photographer David Slater traveled to Indonesia to photograph monkeys. Instead of doing traditional photos, though, he set up a camera on a tripod with a remote, and a female monkey came across the camera and pressed the remote trigger, taking several selfies. After this, Slater used these photos as his own. At the end of September of this year, though, PETA sued Slater, claiming that the monkey actually owned the rights to those photos. I can't believe this is a topic, but does that monkey actually own the rights to those selfies? We're going to start with the centaurs. What do you guys think?
Well, there's no real argument here because chimpanzees lack a basic human facility, which is the fifth faculty, which is intelligence to inquire into the truth of existence, and that's what science of identity says. And it's inquiry. This monkey did not say, I'm going to take a selfie today, all right? And the other thing, too, is the chimpanzee genome is comparably different, nucleotide by nucleotide, than the human genome. So they lack that power to decide, I'm going to take a selfie. So why would PETA argue?
Exactly.
This is a very interesting argument, and while your side may not have an argument over here, we most definitely do. So, you mentioned the chimpanzee. Here we're talking about a crested macaque, which, by the way, is a critically endangered species, okay? We're talking less than 200,000 currently left alive today. Now, any fundraising efforts, any efforts to really help this species have largely gone remiss. I mean, we haven't heard about them. We haven't talked about them. In fact, the first publicity this species got was when a man named David Slater decided to walk into their habitat and set up his camera in their possession. And by the way, it doesn't matter that it's his camera because the United States Copyright Office functions on the rule of authors. And the rule of authors, as specified by the office, it refers to someone who uses an object to do something. Now, we have a media here. We have an actual selfie. We have an actual selfie, and that shutter was hit by one of these animals.
But it wasn't in the United States.
It wasn't in the United States, but it's being published in the United States, and PETA is suing from the United States, and here's the reason. Because this author, David Slater, is starting to publish a book in San Diego where PETA decided to sue them.
You know what? I don't know why the monkey even wants the pictures, first of all, because they weren't even that good.
It's a pretty attractive monkey.
Maybe because it doesn't want to be decreasing 80% every 20 years.
Okay, well, second of all, life is a lot like Destiny's Child. Someone's got to be Latavia. And the monkey is obviously like Latavia Robertson, and they need to understand that it's not worth it.
But the thing about Destiny's Child is that Beyonce went solo. This monkey.
This is not the topic we're debating tonight, guys.
This monkey has the right to have its own identity and promote its own work, and to benefit from that work.
But my question is, if he was taking pictures of this monkey, he was already raising awareness. If people really want the money, why don't they be fair and donate
Well,
it?
if they were raising awareness, then why didn't you know the name of the species till I just told you? Clearly this awareness isn't working. What I'm saying is, if this monkey owned its own copyright, if that monkey owned its copyright and this picture was published as much as it has been, if even it earned 10% of the money this picture's earned, then this monkey and his entire tribe could actually have a safe habitat instead of living
because
in a
they're
jungle.
going to buy themselves a $14,000 mansion.
The U.S. News
with
and
the
World Report
pool.
says they're currently living in a jungle where day by day mercury is poisoning the water. I mean, these monkeys are actually living in a day by day dying environment.
What do you think, Elizabeth? Do you agree with your partner here?
So the thing is that we raise a dangerous precedent if we don't allow artists to control their own art. And monkey or not,
Okay, Taylor
you still have
Swift,
the
you
right
can
to
take
own
a
your
chill
own art.
pill. Okay, we're not fighting over, like, we're debating about a monkey wanting rights to a picture.
Do monkeys have human rights the same we do? With
No,
copyright?
because they're
I
not
don't-
humans.
I mean,
That's why they're
Exactly.
monkeys.
You're
But
completely
the thing
correct.
is, like, if we look at the definition of humanity, it's changed over time.
But the
Certain
same,
things- certain-
but the same thing. I'm gonna
people
go back
have
to
been-
this.
People have humanity itself has been
gallery.
declared as non-human entities that we know today to
Yeah,
be human.
but science
Look,
says
I'm
that
willing-
genomes
I'm
are
more than
different.
willing to
Guys,
say
I am
what
so
you're
sorry. We don't have all the time in the world for this debate. We got to go to our judges. This was a mess, guys. What do you guys think?
What a wonderful way to start the show. Thank you so much. I loved both sides. I have to go with the Pegasi on this. Sarah McLachlan would be proud. I just found it to be very methodical despite the ridiculousness or the apparent ridiculousness of the argument. So.
What I loved about the Paramount Pegasi is you always had an answer back. Like the rebuttals were perfect, even like, oh, Beyonce went solo. So that's why I think you rebutted much better.
I thought, hard to keep a straight face. I thought that both sides' arguments were right on the money, but I have to give it to the Pegasi also. You guys were just much more thorough in your arguments. It was a completely ridiculous thing to have to defend siding with PETA, but you guys did very well.
You should have said right on the monkey.
Thank you, judges, and Paramount Pegasi. Congratulations, you've won the first debate. Monkey or not, you always have the right to watch Speechless. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Have you had a rough night? We've all been there. And we know where you're going. Backyard Boss.
And now it's time for our second debate. In Syria, divisions between ethnic groups, secular and Islamic fighters, and others have contributed to a civil war that's displaced 11 million people. In fact, the UN estimates that over 200,000 people have died in the battle between rebel forces and President Bashar al-Assad's military. As a result of the conditions in Syria, over 3 million refugees have fled to other nations. So does the United States have a responsibility to take in Syrian refugees? Paramount Pegasi, what do you guys think?
While we do incredibly support refugees in the United States, the answer is no. There are just too many refugees in the world to say that we need to open our borders to these refugees. There have been 12 million dead in the Congolese genocide, millions across the world, and to say that these refugees hold some sort of special place is just not fair or acceptable.
Furthermore, these refugees are fleeing from an admittedly dangerous environment. They're coming directly out of Syria, and we have no true way to filter through who's coming into this country. The sheer manpower it would take to go through every single person. I mean, here's a rough idea. We've taken 70,000 refugees a year as it is, which is one of the highest numbers across the world. And every time we do, they have to meet with the Department of Homeland Security representative. They have to go through that process. They have to be medically vetted. They have to go through background checks. And that whole process can take up to 2 years. To say that we now need to shut down our normal process and bring in and be responsible for these refugees, it's simply not possible.
Well,
Yeah.
that's nice.
What do you guys say to this?
But the
That's-
refugees, and I quote from the U.S. News and World Report, refugees have to be screened by the National Counterterrorism Center by the FBI Terrorist Screening Center. That means that these refugees are being screened. They're not dangerous. There's no danger. They're being screened. And the other thing too is the U.S. has offered to take in 10,000 immigrants, says the U.S. News and World Report. But countries such as Germany have promised to take in more than 800,000 Syrian refugees. If you look at geographically, Germany is so much tinier than the US, and we're taking in an embarrassingly little amount of refugees. And the other thing too is the basis of America is based on immigration. It says on the Statue of Liberty, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Send those, the homeless tempest tossed to me.
And while that's true, we are a country of immigrants, and we are a country that allows these people, and we do. The International Rescue Committee 2014 report states that we brought in about 800,000 refugees last year. But the thing is it's not just from this country, it's from all over the world, it's from all over, because there are less publicized refugee crises. There's the Congolese, there's the
But when your
Rwandan.
country
But the
is
thing-
responsible for like a lot of the issues in the Middle East and a lot of the is like the biggest political
superpower. Yeah.
power in the Middle East, and with a lot of issues that are happening, the least we can do is invite people and like
And
let
that's
them come
actually,
into our country.
I'm glad you bring that up. There are several countries across the world. Every Western civilization is in part responsible for the Middle East. But here's the thing. Things have gotten so heated over there, so dangerous over there. To say it's now our responsibility to take in these people is far too great. The United States has 46.7 million people in poverty. It's according to the U.S. Census. 15 million of those people are children. Of those 15 million children, there is 0% food security from day to day, meaning they don't know whether or not there will be dinner on the table.
There's
How
plenty
about
of
we
food
fix?
in the world.
I'm
Yale.
sure there's plenty of food. Are you going to pay for
We-
that for those people?
we don't-
How about we fix our own situation in this country before deeming we're responsible for others?
You know, yeah,
We
that's
have-
true, but like, where are these people supposed to go if not the U.S.?
The thing is that this is a very well-publicized problem, and we are talking about Germany, other countries are taking in. What the U.S. is doing is we're not only taking members of some of these refugees from this country, but we're also taking them in from places that people aren't as aware of. People aren't as aware of the Congolese genocide. People aren't as aware of a lot of other genocides. And the thing is we're taking those, whereas like this issue, which is very well publicized, where a lot of people know about it, and countries like Germany and other UK countries are helping with this situation. And so we're taking.
Dan, to answer your real question, we can put them in lots of reserves. The United States is a huge nation. I mean, we took all the land from the Native Americans, so I mean, of course, there's plenty of space
That's
for
interesting,
them.
but we're $19 trillion in debt. What money do you have to put them in a home? What money do you have
Well, maybe
to
we
not
should
only
stop
bring them
spending it,
over here?
bombing the Middle East or
I
bombing the world.
completely and wholeheartedly agree, but that's not the issue here. The issue is where
Yes,
do these
it's part of
people
the issue.
go?
There wouldn't be an
That is
issue
a
in
fact.
Syria.
Once they get
But the
here,
thing
who's
is
paying
where
for
do
it?
we stop? There are an estimated 14 million refugees in the world. Are we responsible for all of them? Do we take in every single refugee? We do not have the
Well, no,
resources
because
to
if
do
we're
that.
responsible for
Look, in
the
a
havoc
perfect
and-
world, we would bring in every single person and their tired, poor, and huddled masses. But terrorism exists in this world now when it didn't when we wrote that on
in-
Statue of
in
Liberty.
2014, they did a survey, a national survey. A U.S. report did a survey on countries that they view who is the biggest a terrorist threat. America came out as one of the top nations for like political terrorism. So
This
I
is
think the
very
least that we
interesting.
could do is open
Fascinating. That's
Guys-
because there are a lot of other countries in the world.
Guys, this is really fascinating. I love all the things you guys have said. We have to go to our judges to see what they thought.
Woo! This was quite the debate. Again, I liked how methodical both teams were actually with their stats and their data. I'm going to give it to the Pegasi, not because I necessarily agree, but because I like the whole argument that was made about do we shut down our process, and I felt like that wasn't necessarily really unpacked. So I'll give it to the Pegasi.
I really enjoyed how the Centaurs brought that America is based on immigration and on refugees, and with the Statue of Liberty quote and all of that. So you guys are really equal, but I prefer the Centaurs for this one.
I am going to side with the Centaurs on this one because I felt that the point of America does in fact bear a lot of responsibility, just given the fact that we started a lot of the conflicts in this country and we did destabilize a lot of these countries, that we do in fact bear a lot of the responsibility. So I'm going with you guys.
Wow, thank you, judges. Colonial Centaurs, congratulations, you've won the second round. So we have a nice little tie going here. Don't go away, Speechless will be right back.
Welcome to this season of College Kitchen. I'm your host, Amelia Fabiano.
And I'm Aaron Kenigsberg.
College Kitchen is a show where we're going to take you around Boston to show you all the hottest food spots.
Whether that is man food, which is your burgers, your bacon, your meat, all that grease, yes.
Or like Sweet Talk, where we'll show you sweet tooth lovers where to get your cake fix, your ice cream fix, all that good stuff.
We also have Wild Card, which is your ticket to food from all over the world.
Or if you're on a budget, like I know I am, we'll take you in the kitchen with Alyssa to show you how to make college food on a budget. So sit back,
relax,
and enjoy
College Kitchen.
Oh, hey guys, it's me, Christian, one of your very own Backyard Boston hosts. I swear there's another one around here somewhere. Maggie! Well, anyway, Boston's a great city to get around in, whether you're walking or taking the T. Holy Jesus!
Hey Christian, what
Hi,
a great
Maggie.
segue
Oh, no.
into our segment.
Maggie, we talked about this.
Watch us on the Emerson channel where we show
Please
you
don't.
our segue around Boston.
I give up.
College athletes make up a billion-dollar industry in the United States, responsible for sending thousands of athletes to the institutions of higher education every year. In recent years, public opinion has begun to turn on the NCAA due to its refusal to pay its student athletes, insisting that the education they provide is payment enough. Given the immense time commitments required of these individuals and the long-term damage that can be done to athletes as a result of competing, should these college athletes be paid for what they do? Start with the Centaurs.
Well, you do make the point that it is a billion-dollar industry. U.S. News and World Report reports that the NCAA makes $6 billion annually, and where does that go? Not to the athletes. And if major league athletes get a profit from jerseys and video games, why don't college students? We have March Madness. Why don't the college students get that money?
There's a lot of money, and also Forbes recently filed a report that said that I think it was 11 most highest paid salaries for the oddest jobs. Came in 7 was bingo manager with $56,000, and if someone who gets to call out numbers makes $56,000, I think we can pay our athletes a little something.
Well, I'd like to respond directly to that point there. Now, when we talk about students, it's important to remember a very, very important thing. They are students. They go to school, and for the most part, they don't pay for school. Now let's talk about that number right there.
What do you mean they don't pay for school?
These students are paid through scholarship by the NCAA. These are NCAA scholarships. They're paying in these leagues, and for the most part, they're attending schools that are pretty expensive. Let's talk about Duke, which is one of the biggest football and basketball competitors in the NCAA. This school is a $67,000 tuition, okay? Now the median American household, according to the US Census in 2014, is $53,000, which means that this student playing for Duke gets paid a financial compensation larger than the average American household for playing basketball as a student. That means every Friday night he's still doing his essays instead of only going out with his friends. That means he still has the responsibility of going to class. He's a student just like you and I. I'm not getting paid to be here right now, but I'm spending just as much time as that student might.
And I'm glad you brought up that they're going to school. The other thing too is they're recruited to play at these schools. The schools say, we want you, we need you to play this certain position. And the other thing too is they're not sitting on a Friday night doing their essay. They're doing their essays on a bus that's taking them to their next game, where it's going to be filmed on ESPN or television networks, where the television networks are just getting money from this and they're not getting any profit.
So where's the marching band? The marching band goes, the marching band sits on the bus and they do their essays on the bus and they're on ESPN too. But we're not going to pay them. We're not going to pay the poets who write at the school and help the prestige of the school. We're not going to pay the people who work on the newspaper staff and spend time on that. Where do we draw the line? Student athletes are students first, and that we do not pay students to do what they do.
Also, when you step on the court each time, you risk an injury that can change your career path.
And by walking out on your college campus, you risk injury walking around. I understand that these guys have a higher injury rate, but let's keep in mind that they are athletes, and every single day they're getting career practice. They're getting practice to go into the industry that they want, the same way that we get practice going into the industry we want by going to classes day in and day out and going into clubs and attending screenings and filmings just like
but
this.
They represent
We're
a
getting better at our
brand bigger
industry.
than themselves.
But the other thing too is marching bands, you don't collect like cards of the local tuba player, like
you know?
his card's like, no way, dude, I got the tuba player. No, you get like
that's right,
number
because
12.
our
Like,
world has a very, very interesting idea of what's talent and what's
their
exciting.
faces are being sold, and they're not getting profit of that.
They're getting drafted into an industry where they will get paid more than 99% of the American population. So let me tell you something. They're going to make plenty of money, so they can handle being in college for 4 years.
Riot on Wall Street.
And you're also saying they're getting paid for scholarships. So many other students are getting scholarships as well for community service.
Getting a full scholarship is extremely rare, especially one paid for by the NCAA, which is a lot of money. As I said, that's $70,000 a year for many of these schools.
Because it would make them money.
But guys, these students are risking their physical bodies. They can get seriously injured. Like, don't you think they should get some sort of, compensation?
They are getting
do.
compensation.
Their health care is
I think you're
almost always fully
exactly, and I
covered
think
by
you're
the school.
extremely undervaluing education. Are you saying that education is not a worthwhile investment? Are you saying that the money that we're putting into these students is not going towards
if we're looking
education?
at the difference between like what professors are paid and then the amount of scholarship that these students are getting, they're already getting more than the teachers who are paid to teach them, and oftentimes more than the coaches who are paid to coach them. I mean, it's really not fair to say that not only should they get
I wouldn't say the professors get more than the coaches. Duke example pulled in a revenue of nearly $80 million last year, according to U.S.
So
News
because you get into a better school, should you be paid more money to go there?
Well, look at our
Let's
president.
think about
he
this.
makes over $600,000.
And that's it's a very interesting.
Before we go
with a
there,
free
we are
brownstone.
actually out of time. Guys, I'm so sorry. We have to go to our judges. What did you think of this debate?
Ooh, this was interesting. I'm gonna have to go with the Pegasi. I like the point that was made about career practice and the fact that they're getting scholarship. So yeah.
I also picked Pegasi before the reason that you don't pay the marching bands, the poets, and the newspaper, staff. That's what I thought. Like, students are students no matter what at the end of the day.
Near the end, it was getting very close for me. Like, it was very neck and neck, but I also had to give it to the Pegasi. I just thought that your points were more thorough.
Wow. Thank you, judges. Well, this was a close debate, guys. Pegasi, you've won the third debate, and you also have won the show tonight. So congratulations. Thank you guys all for being here. That's all we have for tonight. We'll see you next time on Speechless.